because we need to talk about surrogacy right now. This post, I don't know how many 100 million views or something like that. Megan Trainor has welcomed a baby girl named Mikey Moon via surrogate, and I have to say the first thing. I had to make the joke, of course. This should be illegal. No baby girl deserves to be named Mikey Moon. But these celebrities, that I don't know what kind of Jenga game with the names they play. Is like they play Jenga with names in each block or random words or Scrabble or something like that to name them like that. But that's not what we're talking about. Not the that stuff, but the surrogacy stuff that so many people are against. So many people are like meh, and so many people are pro this. I would love to see your comments right now in the chat. I would like to see your comments as well when I post this video. Most likely it would be in my Body Language Guy channel. Megan Trainor tells people that surrogacy is not something to whisper about or judge. Yeah, because the backlash, it was a very negative reaction in the comments. The reactions were mostly like 70 to 80% negative. And there were not like positive comments, but like neutral comments like, what is the big deal with surrogacy? Let's talk about that, because we need to address that the ethics of this. The ethics of it. It wasn't our first choice, but we had endless conversations with our doctors in this journey, and this was the safest way for us to be able to continue growing our family. We're forever grateful for that option. I want people to know that surrogacy is just another beautiful way to build a family. My complaint, besides the name of the baby girl, is why would you do the skin-to-skin thing if that is performative? The skin-to-skin thing after a baby is born is with the actual biological mother. The baby who has been like handled like this, has been handled like this juggler at a circus between, the doctors, the nurses, checking everything, the Apgar, all the things that have to do with a new baby, right? Have been juggling this baby one to another like this, a hot potato. And they have to bring the baby to the mother so the baby can smell the mother and can feel and can hear the heart that has heard for 9 months. What if after plain hot potato with the newborn, you put the newborn on a woman who, it's let's say it's was not the one who gave birth to the baby. This was laughable. I mean, and the tears. I always tell you, these people are hell-bent narcissists. I mean, save the photo for anything else. I don't even know what is she famous for. I don't know if it's for music or acting. I couldn't care less. I just know that this woman is a narcissist because of the skin-to-skin thing, because of the tears and the photo, and let me everybody know that I did this, and let everybody see this picture. This is that I have a lot of trouble with. Now, I needed to be clear about something, and in the sense that I have kind of a conflict of interests, because I happen to have a rather close family member who the only certified, the only way, absolutely the only way. This was not like, oh, I don't want to harm my body kind of woman. No, the only way they could actually have a baby was through surrogacy. And they had a baby with surrogacy many years ago. They have a healthy boy right now. That was the only way. They have a happy family right now. They're very happy. They're amazing parents. So I can see it for myself that, in some scenarios, maybe it can work. You can say, okay, that should not be happening. And I can understand why you say that could not be happening. But I'm pretty sure that many of you have somebody close to you or close-ish to you that have gone through that, and that was the only option. Or at least I know somebody. One. I know one. Okay, one couple. And I know that they simply could not that. It was not performative. It was not, oh, I'm going to, I don't want to ruin my body. No, it was real. Having said that, the other problem, the big problem with surrogacy is all the ways that can be exploited. This can be exploited in so many ways I cannot count. So even if this is a very good question. I'm going to address this question. Could she have adopted? There's a good question, because some people say that what is the actual difference between adopting and surrogacy? Why couldn't you choose between one or the other? Well, I guess that people want a baby with their genes, right? I think that's fair. I think that everybody would like a baby with their genes. And in fact, you know that in the majority of the countries in which surrogacy is legal, the version of surrogacy that is legal is that the vessel, or the mother, or the woman who is the vessel of the baby is not related biologically to the baby. So you have the couple, all right, who want to have the baby, and they have this in vitro fertilization, and they put the egg into the surrogate, who has no biological ties to the baby. There are other, let's say, crazy, I think that's crazy, when the mother is actually the mother of the baby, and it's the man who donates the sperm, and the egg is from the surrogate, which that blows my mind that people are willing to go with that. But again, this world is full of horrors beyond our comprehension. We have seen so many things that I at least I could consider maybe when it's for example, you have a couple that absolutely cannot conceive, and maybe her sister or his sister is willing to be the surrogate, and they're all okay with that, and there's no money in between. She's going to do it altruistically out of the kind of her heart. Then why not? It's not the ideal thing. We're playing with things that are not very, let's say, very, very Christian, not very Catholic. I can guarantee you that. But again, I have seen at least one happy family thanks to that. But let's go to the part that I don't like. Is how can this be exploited in so many ways? And I need to mention one way, and sadly I have to mention Dave Rubin. And I know that so many of you like Dave Rubin. So many of you mentioned, and I was mentioning Dave Rubin yesterday with his take on Candace Owens, and how Dave Rubin was solid going against Candace Owens and telling the truth about Candace Owens. But one thing I just cannot stand in any scenario is a same-sex couple literally buying a baby under any circumstance. I draw the line at a man and a woman who cannot conceive in any way, considering surrogacy. And considering the surrogacy that we mentioned, okay, that is their baby, not that the surrogate has no ties to, and maybe it's a close family member. That could work. But I want to say that this is horrific. This is the sign of the end of the times, and this should not be happening. And everybody involved in this should be in jail. I am not going to negotiate with any of this. I could endorse Dave Rubin professionally. I mean, to some extent, I really don't see the guy. I see that he's very successful. It's great that he's successful professionally. But this, I cannot get behind this. And some of you were mentioning, oh, are you okay with gays getting married? Yeah, because if you have, there's just it's like formality, and they want to have access. There's so many things then in society that work as a couple in terms of legal terms for in banking and ownership and so many things that it's easier when a couple is married. If you have a same-sex couple that want to get married to be able to integrate better to society in terms of those legal terms, that is okay. What is the? I don't see any problem with that. I don't see absolutely any problem with that. But this, no, no. This is a draw the line. Even if you told me, even if you could guarantee, even if you could, I don't know, check them through the whole life that they're going to be the best parents, no. And there are even worse things. There are even worse things. There are single dudes, single gay dudes being granted the right to have a baby via a surrogate. And you might ask, you might be asking the question, wait a minute, and whose woman is that egg? Yeah, I vomited. I vomited when I saw this. I vomited when I saw this. How is this a thing? I don't know. This is horrific. This is the problem with surrogacy. People will absolutely, these perverts, these monsters, this scum of the earth will absolutely 100% game the system in every way. So if there is one couple that I know that could have a happy family, okay, there could be traumatic for the baby, the process, and etc. I can understand, but the rest of the life of the baby can be something, a great life. For one couple, you will have X amount of deviants doing any sort of horrific things. And I can't even mention, not even in Rumble, not even in X, the things that have happened to so many of these babies. It's something that, again, you're purposefully creating a life to tear away from the mother. The disruption of the mother-baby bond is psychologically devastating for both baby and mother. In the terms of adoption, usually the adoption thing is something that there's no other option. There's something that is out of mercy because of the condition that is surround the baby or the kid. But surrogacy is something that you're doing on purpose. And again, if it's a commercial transaction, it is quite ethically contestable. So the tiny sliver of I don't know, so the tiny window in which this could be a godsend, that is maybe not the best word to use, but you understand what I'm saying. For a couple to have a child is gonna be like 99% rest of that is gonna be a monstrosity. It's gonna be surrogates who have miscarriages being sued by wealthy women who didn't want to ruin their body, who did that only because of cosmetic reasons, or they didn't want to ruin their body. There was a miscarriage, and they sued the surrogate. And there are other scenarios. I heard about a couple that is documenting they were not going to have any more kids, and she offered herself for a surrogacy, as a surrogate, for a couple they are in the United States. She offered herself for a couple in Europe, and the couple in Europe did all the things, planted the baby, and then they just disappeared. They did not claim the baby, literally. So yes, it's like they were left with this baby from this contract, and the contracting couple just say, hey, no, you know what? After some months, we decided that we no longer want the baby. So she actually had the baby, and she's raising it as the baby as hers. It's a kid now. So yeah, as I'm telling you, the odds of this going wrong are so huge that the risks, the threats, the monstrosities do not, simply are not worth the risk. The tiny amount of people who could get something, even if even in itself it is not right. We could, in this 1%, but no, the risks, simply the abuse of the system, no. And this is without, I don't want to get into too much detail of this, but they are, take this with a grain of salt. I'm going to say that this allegedly, I don't want to get into trouble in any case. But a surrogacy center back in 2023 admitted that they do provide services to sex offenders and PDF files who otherwise wouldn't be allowed within 2,000 feet of children. Make of that what you will. And at the same time, you remember that we have been talking about AI a lot these days. We have been talking about OpenAI and ChatGPT, and we have been talking about this guy, Sam Altman. Yeah. He also has a baby, one baby, right, with his husband by a surrogate. Yes, I thought that you knew that. Maybe you didn't. So, but I'm telling you. And at the same time, Sam Altman and husband fund startup to edit babies' genes. What can go wrong? So again, man-made horrors beyond your comprehension. I would like to know what you think about this in the comments. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the Bad Language Guy. Much love and bliss.